What is going on, YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we have some really exciting news to talk about. Even though that top picture is Scion, we're going to be talking about a potential TAHM KENCH small rework in today's video, and some other stuff including autofill and the new ranked seeding that Riot has been talking about. Before we get in this one, I just want to mention real quick, if you're not already subscribed, definitely click that subscribe button really fast. It helps me out a ton, helps you guys stay updated on all my latest content, so it works out for both of us. Also, check out the link for Robinhood in the description below if you want to receive a free stock just for signing up. With that being said, here we go, getting into 36 minutes ago, Riot released this quick gameplay thoughts, June 26th, little dev blog. They're talking about TAHM KENCH changes and reducing autofill, two things that sound pretty exciting to me. So first up, they're talking about the TAHM KENCH small update. They're calling it a small update. To me, it seems like a medium-sized rework, especially with some of the changes. But they talk about, let's talk Kench. It's no secret that he's one of the champions most famous for being weak in normal games, like in your ranked games, in low elo, medium elo, high elo, whatever ranked games. He's pretty weak. He's not very good in solo queue, but in professional, he is usually pick man. He's usually a very good professional support. He's seen times where he's overpowered as like a top laner. Some people play him jungle, but most of the time on live he usually hovers around a 45 to 44% win rate as support, even though he's dominant in the professional scene, which means they need to make some changes to him. They can't have him being overpowered in pro, because that means they can't nerf him if he has a 45% win rate in solo queue, but they need to buff him because of his low win rate, but they need to nerf him because of his high win rate, and he just ends up being a mess to deal with. So they need to make some changes to him.
I'm a chicken and fries, a fillet of fish and fries, or
So some of the stuff they've been talking about is in testing right now, they're moving Devour to his ultimate, where it gets to be significantly more powerful as a spell cast, and therefore less dependent on allies playing around it. It will both deal more damage to any enemies you manage to eat, as well as better protect allies you're trying to save by granting them a shield and slowing you less. So that sounds pretty interesting. It definitely is not just oh, the other team has TAHM KENCH, so we can't CC their AD carry. If it becomes your ultimate, it's probably going to have a higher cooldown, but it's also going to be way stronger, but it won't be every single time your mobile AD carry gets hit by CC, they just get eaten by TAHM KENCH and saved, which would make it a lot healthier gameplay. It would also make it a lot less overpowered in pro play. And then with a longer cooldown and no access to ability before 6, opponents should be able to capitalize on its downtimes, which is good. It has counterplay. It's very interactive. It just sounds much better. Obviously, I haven't seen what it looks like. We don't have gameplay of it or anything, but that just sounds way better. And the Open W is becoming a new engage tool that will similarly be less coordination reliant than his live engage ultimate. Think of faster, shorter personal abyssal voyage. That's his ult. So yeah, you don't ult anyone with it anymore. You just go in yourself. That damages and knocks up enemies on arrival. Sounds like a little like tiny Malphite ult almost, which would be pretty crazy depending on how big AoE, how much damage it does, what the cooldown is. We're also taking this time to adjust his sustained combat pattern, give him some cool tricks. We're trying out a self heal on Tongue Lash, as we've identified that his combat pattern tends to be very one and done. Due to the all or nothing nature of Thick Skin's defenses, we are trying to encourage offensive uses of Devour by allowing Tongue Lash to once again stack an acquired taste, as well as letting you use it to devour enemies at range who are fully stacked. The current timeline for this work is after the Worlds patch. I believe that comes out in like October, maybe late August, early October. Worlds is usually in November, to avoid potential upheaval for Summer Split Worlds and give us time to tune and adjust them before the professional scene picks back up. I think that's a good thing. Obviously, TAHM KENCH sees a lot of pick and pro play, and if they just change him, who knows how that would mess up the game. But they're calling this a small update, but to me it sounds like they're changing his Q, they're changing his W, they're changing his ultimate, they're changing 3 out of his 4 abilities, and changing a lot of how he plays in both professional and solo queue. That sounds like a rework to me. It sounds like a substantial rework. Obviously, he's not getting like visual graphic update, ability update, anything like that. To the look of him, they're not putting a ton of all the full-time resources, all that into him. But these are pretty massive TAHM KENCH changes, and to me, a lot of this sounds really good on paper. I'm very curious about this new engage tool W. It sounds like a little bit broken, but yeah, making his ultimate a little bit different, better, sounds a lot more interesting to me. Sounds good. Reducing autofill, that's something that we all love. Before these changes that they made recently, there was around a 5% autofill. Now you're about 3% likely to be autofilled. That sounds great to me. Apparently they're trying to even lower it more. They want you're going to get a few more games of secondary. That went from 4% to 7%, so that's almost doubled. You're still getting your primary about as often, but your secondary choice actually matters now, because before, look at this, you were getting secondary more than you were getting autofill, so that doesn't even make sense. There was really no point in picking your secondary. Now you're getting your secondary double your autofill. I think that's how it always should have been. I think that makes sense. That's a very great change, because I hate autofill. I'm sure a lot of you guys hate autofill too. And then ranked seeding has been moved to the preseason. This is where they're trying to make less games for Smurfs to get to the MMR that they're supposed to. They were trying out some stuff, but that's not going to be coming out until later. So we'll talk about that more once it comes in the preseason. And also Little Legends ARAM removal on hold, because they got a ton of backlash for that stuff as well. But yeah, some huge things to talk about in this quick gameplay thoughts, a lot of TAHM KENCH news and some autofill stuff too. But yeah, leave a comment down below letting me know what you think about this TAHM KENCH update. Do you think it sounds good? Do you think it sounds bad? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe, stay updated on my latest content, because that's pretty much it for this one today, guys. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one, but until then, peace.